This is Newsroom home and in for Janssen. Now, the African Union has called for an extraordinary summit over the weekend in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to discuss their participation in the International Criminal Court. Now, some African leaders have accused the ICC of unfairly targeting Africans. Africa's position will be announced to the world after the meeting. But what shape will this take? Well, to analyze what might transpire, we're joined by Professor Shadrack Gutto from the Center for African Renaissance Studies at the University of South Africa. He is in our Pretoria studios. Professor, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Newsroom.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the viewers.
Professor, it is indeed an important summit that's likely to take place this weekend. People are anxiously waiting. What's the outcome? What can we expect?
Well, the meeting is important in the sense that whenever there are extraordinary summits, there are usually urgent matters that need to be discussed. But in terms of the subject matter of focus, it is very worrying. There are so many other very pressing challenges for Africa. For example, Africa's membership of the UN Security Council, Africa empowering the AU financially to make it effective, and so on. So one would have expected special summits to concentrate on those matters than what is there now. But given that it is going to take place, I think the meeting, one doesn't quite know what the outcome will be and the impact of that, because states are members of the ICC because they signed and ratified the Rome Statute. And because of that, the 34 African countries that have ratified have to follow the rules that are in that particular treaty if they want to opt out, and they have to opt out on individual capacity, not as a group.
Now, Professor, to stay or to pull out of the ICC, I think that's the big question, isn't it? What's at stake, do you think?
Well, what the leaders are really saying is that the ICC is focusing too much on Africa and not other similar situations where serious crimes, war crimes, genocide, and so on are being committed elsewhere in the world, and those leaders are not being brought before the ICC. That is partly true, but why is that the case? It is the case because African leaders themselves, those who are shouting the loudest now, are the ones who referred those cases to the ICC. The ICC jurisdiction is that the prosecutor can initiate investigation and charge whoever has committed the offenses. The UN Security Council may refer cases to the ICC, and countries can refer cases to the ICC. The African cases that are there, the vast majority were referred there by the leaders themselves.
Yeah, I see just recently the Zimbabwean Justice Minister saying that the ICC should have actually charged George W. Bush, US President, as well as Tony Blair for their involvement in Iraq and Libya. Do you agree with that?
That would be subject to the prosecutor initiating an investigation, and there has to be a complaint. And if indeed they think that those people should have been charged, whoever is saying that should submit the record to the ICC. Mind you, the US is not a state party to the ICC, but if they have committed crimes elsewhere in the world, the place where those crimes have been committed can refer the matters there. So that's not an excuse to say they should have. The question is, are the cases which are before the ICC from Africa, are they valid cases that fall within the jurisdiction of the court? Were they referred there by the relevant bodies? And as I've already indicated, it is the leaders themselves that did so. So it is The Rome Statute is clear. If you want to move out under Article 127, you have to write to the Secretary General of the UN.
Yeah.
It is only after a year of such notice that you can pull out, but the obligations that you were there while you are a state party will have to continue. That means that when they pull out, all these cases will still continue to be dealt with by the International Criminal Court.
Let's just talk about one of those cases, the cases involving the Kenyan president. How do you think that case, do you think at all, has that case influenced recent events now?
That case is, we have had turns, twists, and so on in the case. First of all, the case went there because Kenya was unwilling to set up a special court to deal with international crime because Kenya is a state party. When the matter was investigated by Justice Waki and the report was there, and the recommendations was that Kenya could try them or it would go to the ICC. Mind you, the ICC is complementary to the national jurisdiction. So it is Kenya's government itself that really made that decision that they were not going to try the people who are found to have committed the offense. And then now it is the very same Kenyan government, of course, under new administration, that is saying it wants to pull out. So the leadership in the country in Kenya is fooling the citizens of that country.
Professor Shadrack Gutto, thank you very much for your time. That's where we'll have to leave it. Professor Shadrack Gutto is from the Center for African Renaissance Study at UNISA. Well, we are live right here